The crash happened just after dusk, on a lonely stretch of Highway 17, where pine trees stood like sentinels and no houses could be seen for miles. The impact was sharp, the kind that silences everything for a moment afterward. A single car had swerved into a ditch, its front crumpled against a tree trunk, steam whispering up from the mangled hood, like a ghost escaping. By the time first responders arrived, the driver, an elderly woman, was gone. Her name was Margaret Lane. She had no immediate family listed on her license, only a small handwritten note tucked in with her insurance. "In case of emergency, please look after Maisie." They didn't find Maisie at first. The woman's body had already been gently moved to the coroner's van when one of the deputies noticed movement near the underbrush. A low form, crouched and still, eyes gleaming yellow in the fading light. A cat. She didn't run when approached. She didn't hiss or bolt. She simply sat there, fur muddied, paws tucked beneath her, as if she were guarding something invisible. "Hey there, little one," whispered Deputy Harris, kneeling down. The cat stared past him, her gaze fixed on the wreckage. Chapter 2. Maisie. She was a muted tortoiseshell, her coat a mosaic of greys and dusky browns, with a single streak of white down her nose like a falling feather. They tried to coax her away, offering tuna from a lunchbox and the gentle call of "Kitty, kitty," but Maisie would not move. Not far, anyway. She'd dart out to sniff a bite, then return to the same patch of earth near the ditch, curling up beneath a crushed maple leaf. "She's waiting," said Officer Jordan, watching from behind the patrol car. "For what?" Harris asked. "For someone who isn't coming back." Eventually, they lifted her gently into a carrier and took her to the station, where she cried the first night. Long, wailing meows that echoed through the hallway, like a grief too big for her tiny body. The next morning, they returned to the crash site just to check. They hadn't seen the second body. Not at first. Chapter 3. The second passenger. She had been thrown from the car, down the embankment, hidden in a tangle of tall grass and shadows. A girl, no older than 20, wearing headphones still tangled around her neck. Her name was Lila. In her jacket pocket, they found a picture, her, the older woman, and Maisie curled on a windowsill, family in some form. The realization came slowly. Margaret was not alone. She'd been driving her granddaughter home from college. They were taking the long way, she had said in a voicemail to a friend, because Lila liked the trees and Maisie always gets less scared on the scenic route. Maisie had stayed at the crash because she knew. She had smelled it. She had seen what they missed. She had stayed because someone she loved had not been found yet. The officers didn't speak much that day. Maisie was returned to the station, but her eyes grew dim. She stopped eating. Grief, it seemed, was not limited to the human heart. Chapter 4. The Visitor. 2 days later, the precinct received an envelope in the mail. No stamp, just hand-delivered. Inside was a card written in shaky cursive. "To whoever found my Maisie, if I am gone, please do not send her to a shelter. She has never known a cage. She is old now, and her bones ache in winter. She belongs on a pillow in the sun, or in the crook of a reading arm. Please find her a quiet home. She is all I had, and all Lila ever loved." Signed, Margaret. It was Officer Jordan who stepped forward. "My mother passed last fall," he said quietly. "The house is too quiet now. I think Maisie and I could keep each other company." The chief nodded, eyes soft. That night, when Jordan brought the carrier home and opened the door, Maisie stepped out slowly. She didn't explore. She simply walked to the sofa, curled up at one end, and fell asleep with a sigh so deep it seemed to empty her of weeks' worth of sorrow. But the story wasn't finished, because 3 weeks later, Maisie disappeared. Chapter 5. The Empty Cushion. The house was silent when Officer Jordan returned from his shift that evening. At first, he thought Maisie was simply sleeping in her favorite spot behind the curtains, where the sun made a warm pool on the floorboards. But when he called her name, No soft thump of paws followed. He searched the house top to bottom, closets, the laundry room, even behind the old armchair she liked to nap under. The back door was shut, the windows locked. Then he saw it. The corner of the screen door in the kitchen had been nudged open, just enough. Maisie was gone. Outside, the night air was cold and the stars hung low and sharp. Jordan stood on the porch and called into the darkness, heart tightening. "Maisie, girl?" Nothing but the wind in the trees. He left a bowl of food on the step and a blanket, just in case. But deep down, he felt the quiet answer in the stillness around him. Maisie had left for a reason. Chapter 6. The long way back. Maisie was old. Her hips ached when she walked and her eyes watered in the wind. But she moved with purpose even as her legs trembled. Something pulled her. Over 2 nights and through the hush of dawn, she made her way. Past the creek with the moss-covered bridge, past the oak where crows gathered like mourners in black. She limped across gravel and grass, rested in ditches, drank from puddles, and continued on. The car crash site looked different now. The wreck was gone, the grass disturbed but regrown. Yet she knew the place. The scent lingered in the earth. Familiar, sacred. Maisie curled beneath the same crushed patch of underbrush. She didn't cry this time. She simply waited. And just before the sun rose, a figure approached, drawn by a patrol car's faint headlights cutting through fog. It was Jordan. Chapter 7. The Final Watch. He hadn't given up searching. He'd driven that same stretch of Highway 17 every evening, slowing each time near the ditch, scanning the roadside with aching hope. That morning, he spotted her silhouette, small and unmoving. For a breathless second, he feared the worst. But then she lifted her head. "Maisie!" He dropped to his knees in the wet grass, heart swelling with something he couldn't name. She blinked slowly, as if saying, "You found me." He lifted her into his arms, cradling her gently. Her body was colder now, her breath shallow, but there was peace in her eyes. Back at his home, Jordan laid her down on a pillow warmed by the heater. She slept without stirring for hours, the deep, untroubled sleep of someone who has finished what they were meant to do. Maisie passed that night, quietly, softly, as if slipping between shadows. Jordan buried her beneath the apple tree behind the house, wrapped in the blanket she had first arrived in. He placed a stone at her grave, carved with care. Maisie. She waited. She watched. She loved.